So this is the Galaxy Note 9, Samsung's flagship Android smartphone for 2018. It costs $1,000 for the base model, that is, and it packs Samsung's signature features on the Note line like the S Pen, a big, and I mean a really big screen, and a few incremental add-ons from the Note 8. What's up everyone, Eber here with Hardware Connects, and this is 90 days with the Galaxy Note 9. Let's get started, right after this.
It's time to play with light with Phanteks digital RGB starter kit that includes 2 LED strips and all the appropriate cables. The main hub is magnetic, Velcro tape is available with 3 digital channels for LED strips or Halo Slux fan frames that display a ton of lighting effects and they're absolutely gorgeous. Check out the kit down below.
Alright, so I'm going to be discussing on what has changed since the Note 8 and if that change has improved my experience using the Galaxy Note 9 because I was actually fortunate enough to test out that device last year. First up, let's go over the design and build. It's an incremental upgrade over the Note 8. You still get the glass back design that loves fingerprints, but at the same time it maintains support for wireless charging. Although I did run into something terrible with my sample, and that's this. Yeah, after about a week into testing, which was devastating, but that's the nature with every or any smartphone with a glass back. I actually ended up picking up this matte black matrix skin from Dbrand that covered my carelessness, so we'll leave it at that. So what else? The fingerprint reader has been relocated to a more comfortable position, and it's certainly easier to access compared to the Note 8. It's also pretty fast, but I did run into an issue where this particular biometric authentication was shutting down my phone randomly. Every time I put it to sleep, it automatically shuts down the device, which was super odd. At first, I thought a factory reset might help resolve the issue, but then I later learned that it was a hardware defect and it was also a quality control issue with some S9 and S9 Plus smartphones. Now, the only way to resolve this is to actually get in touch with Samsung's customer support, have it shipped out to them, they'll replace the hardware, and problem will be solved right away. Now, I actually had to end up relying on other authentication services like the pattern unlock and of course the smart screen or smart face unlock feature, which was a hit or miss at times because especially since I wear glasses, it's pretty difficult for it to pick it up, especially during night times. Not as accurate as Face ID, let's put it that way, but you know, what can we do? Next up, the display, and it really isn't that different from the Note 8. I mean, if we were to put them side by side, it has expanded by 0.1 inches, yet it maintains the same QHD Plus resolution. It's still an AMOLED panel, so the colors are as always really vibrant and contrasty. The blacks are just so deep. In fact, I installed this black theme from the Samsung's built-in theme store, and when I pull down the quick settings, the only thing I see lit up are the icons, and it's pretty cool. Samsung is always known to have the best displays on their smartphones, and the Note 9 is no exception to that. In fact, one of the things that I really appreciate about the Note 9's front design is that it doesn't have a notch. It's the one thing that makes this phone stand out from the rest. And the lack of a notch really helps with the content consumption side as well. So I've been catching up on a few TV shows lately. Daredevil Season 3 is out, fantastic show by the way, and consuming it on the Note 9 was just fantastic. The 6.4-inch display is certainly it really is an immersive experience, especially when you are someone who watches a lot of content on your smartphone. Now, I should mention that if you have small hands, handling the Note 9 might be a little bit of a challenge because one-hand operation is completely out of question, so it's pretty difficult to reach the top spots. It's not a deal breaker because I actually had to give myself some time to get used to the bigger size because I was coming from something like the Pixel 2, which is a really small device. So you know, give yourself some time. If you're coming from the Note 8, then this shouldn't be a deal breaker to you. But again, the size is definitely something to consider if you have small hands. Samsung has still kept the headphone jack on the Note 9, which is very thoughtful. The storage can also be expanded up to 512 gigabytes via microSD. It's still got the IP68 water resistant rating like the Note 8. There are different color options to choose from, including metallic copper, which looks fire. There's midnight black, ocean blue, which is what I'm rocking, cloud silver, lavender purple. Boy, these names, man. And there are rumors of possibly a Snow White edition hitting the shelves for the holidays. So that's pretty cool. One thing that I noticed while watching videos on the Note 9 was the inclusion of stereo speakers. So they've actually taken advantage of the earpiece to act as a separate left channel. So it actually gives you a good stereo separation while watching content. So you don't have to worry about blocking the bottom speaker. It's definitely a welcoming upgrade over the Galaxy Note 8. Now this review wouldn't be complete without talking about the S Pen. It completes Samsung's Note lineup, and just as expected, they've added a few perks this time. The key feature here is the addition of Bluetooth Low Energy technology that allows you to take a picture with a press of a button, or control presentations, or even control your music. Not to mention, it still comes with all the other cool features that we're familiar with previous Note devices, like being able to quickly jot down notes right when you wake up the phone from sleep. Now, I can't vouch for anyone who might take advantage of the S Pen and its new features because I barely found myself taking it out of its compartment in the first place, so you may or may not fall into this category. But let me know in the comments down below if you find any use of the S Pen. If so, what would you use it for? Love to know your thoughts in the comments. The software experience is fairly clean out of the box. It's way better than LG's Skin, in fact, but expect Samsung exclusive apps preloaded on the device, upon which some of them can be uninstalled. It also varies from carrier to carrier as well, so keep note of that. And let's be honest here for a sec. I think for the most part, you'll be rocking some sort of third-party launcher or widgets to fine-tune and customize the UI to your preference. And that's exactly what I did. The OS, for the most part, felt similar to me after trying out other smartphones this year. It's nothing substantially different here, especially if you're coming from the Note 8. As of making this video, the Note 9 is still rocking Android 8.1. That's right, 8.1 on a $1,000 device. Seriously, that's unacceptable for a brand like Samsung to slack on this department, because I've seen $500 devices rocking the latest version of Android Pie. I just don't get why, a brand like Samsung can just not worry about software updates or updating their software up to those standards. Now, word on the street is that there is a beta version available to download on the S9 and the S9 Plus. Again, not sure of the Note 9, but it is expected to receive sometime early of 2019. So let's just cross our fingers and hope that happens. I also want to quickly mention about Samsung DeX. It's an interesting feature that lets you use your phone and convert it to a PC-like experience. It doesn't completely replace that. In fact, I've made a complete explained video on Samsung DeX and its features, so if you're interested, you can actually check it out right over here. And performance has been flawless on the Note 9, and that is to be expected given that it's got the latest offering from Snapdragon and 6 gigs of RAM. You can have as many apps open in the background and get back to it without waiting for it to reload, and I'm hoping it stays consistent over long-term use. I didn't experience any lags or stutters while navigating through the UI. It was pretty smooth over time. And if you're an existing Note 8 user, how has the performance held up until now? Let us know in the comments. All right, Bixby time. Actually, there's nothing really interesting to talk about Bixby because, I never used it. I ended up using Google Assistant for the most part, and it is baked into Note 9 by default, so it's not like you're losing on anything. I will mention that they actually did remove the option to disable the Bixby button physically, like completely, which is kind of odd. It was there on the Note 8, but it's not on the Note 9. I just don't get it. But again, Samsung, give us the option to reprogram this button. It's a great feature, but at least give us the option to reprogram it to do something else, I don't know, take a picture or open a certain app. Why Bixby? Anyways, let's move on to camera performance. And the Note 9 does not disappoint here as well. Just like the Note 8, it features dual 12-megapixel sensors with OIS, but this time they've brought the variable aperture feature from the S9 Plus, so it can automatically adapt towards different lighting conditions and adjust the aperture to give you an interesting depth of field. The end result is fantastic with excellent color reproduction, great dynamic range and sharpness. The additional telephoto lens comes in really useful, just like the Note 8 if you want to get some interesting close-ups without losing detail. Now, at times the sensor does tend to overexpose slightly, but for the most part, you will not be disappointed with these sensors. Here are some more samples. Alright guys, so this is a video test on the Galaxy Note 9, and as you can see there is plenty of dynamic range to play around with. Autofocus also works surprisingly really well, and of course you do have the flexibility to, zoom into particular subjects if you really want to, and get that extra reach, which is pretty awesome. Stabilization is working as expected pretty well. I mean, if you put this on a gimbal, it'll still get the job done really well, but just for me, walking in a windy day here in Toronto, I think it's doing a really good job in that department. But let me know what you guys think about the video quality in the comments down below. Now, are the cameras a significant upgrade over the Note 8? Not really, because you're still getting the exact same standard and telephoto lens setup, and I guess, you're getting the variable aperture mode and a few other perks like super slow motion. But other than that, I'm pretty sure you can still get some fantastic results with the Note 8. Battery life, in one word, is phenomenal on the Note 9. Seriously, it is one of the biggest improvements from the Note 8. They've increased the size from 3,300 mAh to a whopping 4,000 mAh, and I've easily been able to get 2 days worth of use on a single charge under moderate to heavy use, and that has been consistent over the past 90 days. If there's one reason for me to recommend the Note 9, it's the battery life. You have to take my word for it. Well guys, that has been my experience using the Galaxy Note 9 for the past 90 days. Believe it or not, I really enjoyed my time using this device. Of course, there were some quirks that started popping up over the course of that period, like the fingerprint reader issue that I discussed earlier. Again, it is negligible because not a lot of people that I know have reported that particular issue. There were also some other things like the built-in blue light filter automatically being disabled when I unlocked the phone during the night, and it didn't work that well with Netflix. Plus, my sample didn't have the data toggle within quick settings. And yes, I did check the whole edit list just like I did with the S9, but if you're willing to go past those little quirks, I think the Note 9 delivers a fantastic experience for a flagship Android smartphone. It's got a great design, fantastic display without a notch, stereo speakers, it still maintains a headphone jack, it also comes with great cameras that shoot both great photos and videos, and most of all, exceptional battery life. Would I pay $1,000 for it? No, because I know for a fact that I can get at least 70% of the features of the Note 9 with, $500 to $600 smartphones. Also, this might be a great time to pick up a refurbished Galaxy Note 8 for a lot less. I'm Ibra with Hardware Connects. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the Galaxy Note 9, and would you actually spend $1,000 for a phone of this caliber? Love to know your thoughts. In fact, given that the smartphone market is completely saturated right now, would you actually consider investing in other solutions? Love to know your thoughts. I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.